I was very young, the Earth Empire controlled the skies. The Tsar and his battle fleet saw everything, knew everything, punished everything. Those of us in the colonies never imagined there could be another way. But then the real slaughter began. Now there are thousands like me, veterans of the League of Free Worlds, who yearn to fight against the savage empire. Famous victory at the Battle of Benet gave us confidence and the time to strengthen our fleet. And it gave our leader, the Father, some reason to believe in the future. Lights on the 7 planets of Galania were extinguished as the invasion threat grew. We even built anti-reflectors over the phosphorus lakes of Acheron. They'd have attracted the Navy like moths to a flame. And somewhere on one of those terrified planets was the Father, watching, waiting, preparing himself and his army for the onslaught. Everyone knew the Earth wanted to take Galania and crush the League forever. But no one knew the Father. In those dangerous times, we trusted a stranger, and he, in turn, trusted us. Wasted and drained, League fleet pilots dragged their ships across star fields riddled with snipers. Friends lost friends, families lost sons and daughters. Brothers and sisters were torn apart in the Navy's drive to end the threat from Galania. We fought on, but we felt desperate. It took us so long to secure Galania that the Navy had time to regroup and look elsewhere for its spoils. This time, it would try to take Diomedes. League forces were split and struggling. We had too many rookies and a star system to lose. Diomedes was holding, but only just. The League fleets knew it was all or nothing. If we lost that system to the Navy, there'd be nowhere left for the League to hide. The Tsar knew it too. His failed attempt to virus bomb Iris must have hurt him badly. We knew he'd want revenge. Diomedes was resource-rich and fertile. That much he'd want to save. But as pilots, we were totally dispensable. It was simple. Without Diomedes, the League was finished. Without the League, Diomedes was dead. It had been a baptism by fire for the League's fleet. But now we'd tasted victory, and it was a flavor we liked. Though even in the midst of all that joy, there was bitter resentment against the Tsar. He tried to tear apart our homes, and we knew he'd only failed because his forces were spread too thinly. Perhaps he didn't quite expect the guts and passion that the League delivered. But now he knew what we were capable of. He would undoubtedly try again. Unless, of course, we got him first. The Navy's attack sent the League reeling. But we still felt we were being pumped into the enemy's heart. To fly through the Draco system was to pass by the factories and fuel dumps that supplied the Earth Empire with its vast killing machines. If we were to damage the Navy's ability to defeat us, this was where it must happen. We couldn't waste our chances now that we were there, flying between the twin suns and past the prying eyes of a hated empire. How many childhoods were lost around the rings of Selene or above the surface of Eurydice? Rookies were becoming hardened to the fluctuations of war, as innocent fears were forgotten in the searing heat of battle. We hoped the Navy were learning those fears as we were losing ours. We were like an organism, cells working in harmony. We felt that Draco was falling to the lead and morale was high. The capture of the Navy comms craft had severed their contact with Empire control. There would never be a better time to strike. The two suns of the Draco system were playing havoc with League fleet metabolisms. Light to dark, then to light again. Our body clocks were beating double time. I heard that pilots flying by Helios were sending messages of friendship to all their comrades before battle. Those in the Hecate zone were backbiting and recriminating before they'd even hit launch. Maybe the rumors were true. Maybe those suns were more than just gas and vapor. Whatever, the tension was real. Pulling in two directions, no one knew where we were heading. The League was in trouble. We were realizing the scale of the threat against us, and confidence was evaporating. Self-belief was draining from my comrades and myself, and from what I heard, there were those in the fleet that even blamed the Father himself. Now we were heading for the Alpha Centauri system, where civil war raged between League supporters and Empire loyalists. They had been fighting for a long time, and each side had its own tales of atrocity to tell. In truth, no one really knew what we were going to find. Attacks came without warning in Alpha Centauri. The loss of the comms craft threw us into disarray. Once loyal League pilots were sabotaging our patrols. They called themselves the Faction. But the League didn't realize the desperate situation, and we were paying the price. The Empire backed the Faction to the hilt. After all, no one knew the League like its own pilots. The Tsar promised glory tomorrow in return for treachery today. Then watch as the League ripped itself apart. There were accusations and interrogations, but how could anyone know which side even the interrogators were on? The poison of civil war in Alpha Centauri had soaked into the fabric of the star system itself, and now it seemed our beloved League was in agony. As we defended ourselves from attack by the traitors, our own supposed comrades, we realized that the rumors had been true. Those who felt there was a better way to control the League were trying to seize power for themselves. Saving the comms craft was vital. At least the command, and maybe even the Father, now knew of the threat. The question was, could we contain it? Our tiny pocket of resistance was now smaller than ever. We'd lost good pilots and intelligent warriors to the Faction. We'd lost valuable ships and resources. And to be honest, most of us had lost the will to fight. We'd all joined this struggle with noble thoughts and aims, and now we were reduced to slugging it out with those who used to be our friends. No one knew if the Father could save us or himself anymore. It didn't seem likely, but maybe with one last push. These were the sights and sounds of history changing and shifting. Suddenly, the League of Free Worlds was closing in on Sol, the home of our enemies. We'd seen simulations of the system, but most of us had never dreamt of ever being there. Now we were closing in on it, the birthplace of it all. The collapse of Draco was a spectacle I'll never forget. In those split seconds after victory was won, I thought the stars were parting to let us through. The Sol system suddenly seemed a vast and lonely place. After the exhilaration of the flight from Draco, we began to realize that we weren't wanted there. That far from being an all-conquering liberation force, we were regarded as criminals breaking into the enemy's home, and they were ready for us. The Navy's forces had left us seriously depleted. We were in danger of imminent extinction. After we'd come so far, surely we couldn't allow that.